the time you're seeing this video, the me you know will be dead. Will be dead.
Carry it, and I don't say no to Wilbur, so I carried it. Throughout the entirety of the ARG, Wilbur is seen both with and without glasses, sometimes even switching between wearing and not wearing them in the same video. And when he switches, his demeanor seems to change as well. When they're on, he comes across as obsessive, but calmer and put together.
It's nice when things end with a bow on the top.
When they're off, he becomes erratic, impulsive, and aggressive.
We like our deadlines here. We love our deadlines, we love them.
The theory goes that whatever traumatic event is at the core of this ARG, it may have caused Wilbur to develop dissociative identity disorder, more commonly known as multiple personalities. This condition is commonly the result of trauma, as the brain actively tries to avoid bad memories. And let me just put in a disclaimer here, this is a real condition that is often very negatively and poorly portrayed in media outlets, usually with scary people who are serial killers being the ones that suffer from it. So please do not fall victim to that stigma. It is not true, it is just made up and over-sensationalized. Anyway, applying this idea to Wilbur's behavior throughout the series, a lot of things seem to fit. Wilbur only ever talks about the embarrassing incident when he isn't wearing glasses. Same thing when he's demanding the firing of Kai, or celebrating getting the job as editor. All no glasses. During a Reddit review video, Wilbur looks for his reading glasses and then states,
"I've never owned reading glasses,"
implying that this persona isn't aware of the other. This is the real Wilbur, the one who wants to escape, who wants to forget. This is 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑 or product of 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑. It's a persona that's more emotionally distant, more collected. Honestly, I think that this is right. The evidence for it is too hard to deny, and it explains a lot of the weird 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑 stuff. But clearly, it's not the whole story because we still do not know what is the inciting incident. Well, for that, we need to introduce one final video, one brought to light by online user Christian. This video on Wilbur's music channel features a voicemail from a girl who asks Wilbur out on a date.
We haven't went on a date since like forever, so I just wanted to know if you would like to go to 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑 tonight.
And that's it. We never hear about this girl again. It is a one-time random event that, for followers of Wilbur's work, seemingly goes nowhere. And it's this random phone call, this out-of-nowhere voice message that I believe serves as both the beginning and end of the Wilbur ARG. Using both theories as a base, I think I've got the complete picture. This mystery girl asks Wilbur to meet her at a burger place, which let's assume is in Greenwich near the O2 Arena sometime in December. Remember, this has to have happened before December 16th, but after October due to his relationship with Kai changing. It also links to the poem The Raven that kicked this whole thing off.
Distinctly, I remember it was upon the bleak December.
The voicemail from this girl seems to be quite awkward, but to me it comes across almost as mocking. She's mocking his social awkwardness. It's kind of like when you're in school and the popular girl pretends to be interested in you and then it all comes out as just being a prank. I have a sneaking suspicion that this might be what happened here. Wilbur's social awkwardness meant that he wasn't able to read the situation correctly. He clearly likes the girl and so he showed showed up, which links in our first Edgar Allan Poe poem from the ARG, Eulalie, a poem about a lonely man finally feeling whole thanks to a woman. Quote, I dwelt alone in a world of moan, now doubt, now pain, come never again. This then leads us to a second Edgar Allan Poe poem, Annabel Lee. Quote again, I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. By the sea, in this case the Thames River, and referring to both himself and a mysterious girl. However, when he does go, she reveals that it was all a joke, causing this moment to be marked in Wilbur's mind as embarrassing. He was humiliated and in a moment of rage pushes the girl, which causes her to fall off the edge and into the cold water of the Thames below. Wilbur panics, he dives in to try and get her out, but he's unable to. She's not able to swim and slowly begins to drown, with the last thing Wilbur hearing being the words, I'm so cold. This explains the pictures of the O2 arena and the word oxygen written in the geocache notes. She drowned in the Thames near the O2 arena, lacking O2 or oxygen, which also fittingly ties into that Annabel Lee poem again, where the girl dies cold and wet. Quote, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee, and so all the night tide. I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. All of this would also explain why Wilbur keeps saying I'm so cold. This event has been burned into his mind, those last words, the embarrassing moment, he himself being cold from the water. A traumatic moment so strong that it causes a mental break. It's also a moment that would force him into hiding, explaining the knocking on his door in the first video. He's running from the law, or at least it feels like he's running from it. He's actually running from a guilty conscience, kind of like Poe's Telltale Heart. So any sort of knocking on the door could be the police, or, you know, just a threat, and so he panics and leaves every time. However, there is one small snag in this whole plan. Kai. Kai knows about Wilbur. After all, we know that they met in October that year, which is also probably when he met that mystery girl. She does say that they haven't been on a date in forever. So Kai knows this girl. Maybe he was even in the prank that they were pulling, and so he knows that she's now missing. When Wilbur suddenly realizes this, he plots to have him removed from his point of influence as Jack's editor, paranoid that this information will get out. When Jack doesn't immediately fire Kai, Wilbur takes it upon himself to remove him the only way he knows, by throwing Kai into the same part of the Thames. However, Kai is a strong swimmer. Wilbur, knowing that he can't get rid of Kai, is now forced to face his actions. In his last video of the ARG, Wilbur talks about how even though the part of him that people know will be dead, he'll still be here.
This is where I die. I'll still be here. But this part of me dies here.
And the part of him that will now be dead is, of course, 𝚑𝚑𝚘𝚑, who now no longer has a place in this world as Wilbur accepts what he did. And so as he begins to explain the story to us, 𝚑𝚑𝚘𝚑 disappears.